views and opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting groups. If you'd like to produce a show, call us at 260-421-1250.
Let me be your lighthouse so I can show you the way. Let me be your shining light, I'll keep you from drifting away. I'm the one that makes you try when...
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Patty Hunter, Patty's Page. We hope you are having a great day. Today we are going to be having Mr. Steve Shine on Zoom. First time we have done it with Mr. Shine. So we'll see you in a moment. We'll be asking questions for the next 25 minutes. So hang in there. We'll be there in a moment. So, Mr. Steve Shine, hello, good morning.
And thank you so much for having me, Patty. I must say this is a historical moment because I have been in broadcasting for over 50 years, and not once have I ever been on via Zoom as far as cable is concerned. So it was kind of fun.
Well, this is being a pioneer, eh?
Well, it's about like being something. I'm not sure what I call myself.
Well, you know, we are curious. Where were you born and raised?
Well, actually, I was born right here in Fort Wayne on October 22nd of 1952, and it was at the Lutheran Hospital, which is no longer in existence. I believe there's a park there now, the Lutheran Park bordered on one side by Fairfield and South Wayne on the other. Then I went home from the hospital a couple of days after birth to an area that is now about 6 or 7 blocks south of where my office is located here on Broadway. So I've been a part of this South Fort Wayne neighborhood for I'm going to be 68 in October, so 68 years.
I beat you by several months. I turned 68 in May. Mm-hmm.
Well, belated happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Happy future birthday to you.
Thank you.
Well, growing up, who influenced you the most?
I would say my mother. My parents were divorced when I was about 7 or 8 years old, and I lived with my mother then from elementary school all the way through graduating from law school. And so I was under her tutelage and supervision for all of those years. Of course, my father had a great hand in rearing me, and I am very thankful for everything that he instilled in me. He had a wonderful, wonderful work ethic. He worked, in fact, until the day of his death at 93 years old. So
wow.
He was a hard worker. My mother, with whom I lived, as I indicated to you, was a social worker. She had her master's in social work. And for years, as I was growing up, she was the president of the Allen County League for the Blind. She was the head of the Anthony Wayne Rehabilitation Services. She was on the governor's commission for the disabled. She was a very loving individual, even though she did not have any physical disabilities herself. She always wanted to give her heart to those who were not as fortunate as we were.
Is this physical?
My point being, go ahead.
Is this a physical or mental disabilities, or just which one?
With both physical and mental disabilities, she worked with people who had those types of issues. And I can remember for many years when she worked at the Anthony Wayne Rehabilitation Center, which was at the time located on South Calhoun. At the end of the school day from Southside, I would walk over to Southside High School. I would walk over to the Anthony Wayne Rehabilitation building, and I would wait for her work day to end, and I would sit in the lobby of that building, and I would see the very, very unfortunate individuals who came there for services, afflicted with many physical and mental disabilities. And basically, there but for the grace of God goes I. You learn a lot by being exposed to that and being thankful and wanting to help others when you see that.
Mostly the mentally ill, it's chemical imbalance of the brain. They just take meds and they can lead normal lives, you know. Nowadays, I don't know what they did in those days. But where'd you go to school?
Well, I went to, I believe it, I go by it every day on my way into work, and I still don't look at the sign that close. I believe I started in nursery school at Bethlehem Lutheran, which is located on Eagle Road, just to the west of Eagle and Bluffton. I've always wanted to go back in there. They have signs up there, banners that say, bake sale, church bake sale on certain Saturdays. I thought, well, you know, this is my chance to go back to see where I went to nursery school. I haven't done that yet. But after that outstanding career in nursery school, I then went on to Harrison Hill. And Harrison Hill at the time was kindergarten through ninth grade. So I went to elementary and junior high at Harrison Hill Elementary. Then I went to Southside High School, where I graduated in 1970. In 1970, I went to Indiana University in Bloomington, and then following 4 years of undergraduate school in Bloomington, I did law school at Ohio Northern University in Ada, Ohio, for 3 years.
So, in university, what did you major in?
Well, I majored in political science and in communications, telecommunications. It was called then. I think they call it media, School of Media or something at this point. When I was a freshman at IU, there was the opportunity to apply for a license to own an FM broadcast station. I actually applied for that while I was in undergraduate school. And it was a very competitive process. There were 5 other applicants who wanted the station. And it literally took 7 years of proceedings for me to eventually obtain the license. So it's an interesting story that I went all the way from a freshman at IU through the end of my law school career before I was awarded that license. So for 2 years following my graduation from law school, I actually oversaw the operations of the radio station in Bloomington before I actively started practicing law in 1980.
Oh, 1980.
That's right, yes. I graduated from law school in 1978.
Yeah.
And then for 2 years, I ran the business in Bloomington. I commuted between Fort Wayne and Bloomington. And then once the business got off the ground, we were able to hire a manager who oversaw the daily duties and allowed me to do what I went to school for, which was to practice law.
I have a question. Were you as a DJ or you own? Oh, you were a DJ?
I was the owner there, but my years as a DJ are very, very cherished. And I'll give you a bit of my broadcast career. I started off the show where I indicated that I've been involved in broadcasting for more than 50 years. In fact, it is probably more like 60, because when as I said, will be 68. At 8 or 9 years old, I was on a national radio broadcast, and this is what got my interest. It was called Don McNeil's Breakfast Club. Did you ever hear that?
No, I'm from Toronto, Ontario.
It was a national. It began the show. Good morning, breakfast clubbers. Say howdy do ya. First call to breakfast for all of you out there. America awaits. The Breakfast Club is on the air. And that was broadcast live from the Sheraton Chicago in downtown Chicago, and it got me excited. I mean, it was unbelievable. There was a studio audience in there. There was a band. There was this panel of entertainers, and I thought, this is a business I want to get into. So, and that was at 8 or 9 years old.
Wow.
And so, actually, by the age of 14, I began working at a radio station in Decatur, Indiana. I had to have a special permit from the Department of Labor because of child labor laws. And either my mother, my grandfather, or my father on a weekly basis would drive me down to work my weekend job in Decatur. And I was on the air. My voice basically sounded then as it does today. And so I did work there for 2 years. Following that, I went to WKJG, AM, FM, and TV, and worked through with those stations. It's called Federated Media now. From about age 16 through graduating from law school. I actually worked on those stations while in high school, undergraduate school, and in law school, and worked my way through those schools by working at the radio and television stations here in Fort Wayne.
Were you like an intern in the beginning?
Yes, but I was actually on the air. I mean, I had weekend shows, and on a couple of occasions I was actually on the air on television on Channel 33. It was WKJG, and I did the weather one time. I also hosted a farm show at age 18. It was called the Wayne Rothgap Show. And I don't know, obviously they must have thought I had a knack for it, because it's quite unusual to put somebody on the air at that age. And I certainly I don't think I looked that mature at the time.
Well, you did a good job.
No, I appreciate that.
Excellent. So you are a lawyer?
Yes, that is the pride and joy of what I do. I like helping people. I like resolving problems. I like to witness the feeling and expression that people have when they are successful as a result of what you have done for them. It really sets up a bond between human beings when somebody is able to obtain something that you have so desperately wanted through the legal process.
So what are your specialties? What do you work
Well, my practice, which is Shine and Harden LLP, it is a general practice of law. I am a board-certified specialist in family law. I have been at the Broadway and Beaver location for 40 years. It'll be 40 years on September 2nd of 2020. The same office, but it's expanded dramatically. I started by myself, and now I have 4 lawyers here in the office and a staff of 3 others. And my law partner, Tom Harden, who is the Harden and Shine and Harden, he actually started with me as an intern back in 1992. And that was before he even went to law school. He was just interested in law and in politics. And so the semester before he enrolled in law school, he was with me, and he has been here ever since. He started with me when he was in his early 20s, and he just celebrated his 50th birthday, so that's a long relationship.
I feel old.
As long as you're not tired, you're good.
No, that's true. So you are a Republican.
I am a Republican, and I'm very proud of being a Republican, and I'm a conservative Republican, and I like for what the Republican Party stands for in its conservative principles, whether it's the pro-life, Second Amendment, economic restraint, strong military, all of those attributes as far as your philosophy is concerned is so important to me. And I am proud that I have been honored to serve and continue to serve as the chairman of the Allen County Republican Party. I was first elected in 1993 and have been elected in successive 4-year terms ever since then.
So when's your next election?
I beg your pardon?
When is your next election?
The next election is in March of 2021.
Okay.
And I will be, yeah, it's a 4-year term, and I will be looking forward to serving another term because it's a great community that supports the Republican Party with so much gusto.
What does GOP mean?
GOP means Grand Old Party, and that's the acronym for what the GOP stood for. I guess, just like you have blue dog Democrats, I guess they call them, and then this and that, and with various acronyms for political organizations. GOP, which is another name for the Republican Party, is Grand Old Party.
What is your mission as your title? What do you do?
My mission is to, well, first of all, the most important is to make sure Republicans get out and vote. We do that by energizing the electorate, whether that's having programs such as national guest speakers, whether it's through advertising, whether it's through rallies, whether it's going door to door to get people to support the Republican position. There are a multitude of ways to do that. The other is to make sure that our base is not shrinking, that we continue to grow our party by expanding the tent for cultural diversity and people who are otherwise have not belonged to a political organization in the past. The only commandment is to believe in a conservative philosophy, to believe in the tenets that the Republican Party espouses to be their base foundation for political beliefs.
I like that. I may not be able to vote here because I'm still Canadian, but I do have a green card. We do.
Very good.
And we can't vote, but we are on your side.
Well, I appreciate that, and I think that people who come here from other countries realize that we have one of the greatest countries in the world. It is the world's foremost democracy, and we should be so fortunate that we have the privileges which we have been blessed to have.
Hey, I hear you do voiceover for the Uncle Ducky show.
Well, of all the things I have done in life, whether it's own radio stations, whether it's being an attorney, whether it's being the chairman of the Republican Party, nothing has eclipsed being the voiceover for the Uncle Ducky show. How about that? That way, Doug Wiley is just a great guy who I've known for some time. And one day he came up to me at the YMCA and he said, well, would you be willing to do a voiceover for the Uncle Ducky show? And I said, well, ironically, Doug, I watched the Uncle Ducky show because I always thought his production techniques were so clever and the comedy lines were very funny. So it was a pleasure to be able to do that.
Do you, how long have you known Doug?
Oh, wow. Probably about 10 years, I would say, at least. At least.
So you see me on it as Mrs. Claus with an E, right?
Yes, I do. I do.
I say poems every time.
Well, you know how I feel about Christmas because Cheyenne Hardin sponsors and has the Christmas on Broadway tree. So when I see Mrs. Claus, it makes me think of our great celebration that we have here.
Oh, my husband also does Frosty Snowman.
Yes.
And Uncle Ducky's conscience.
I didn't know he had one.
Oh, yeah, well, but he's got a good conscience.
That's good. That's good.
We've been with them for 6 or 7 or more years. I lost count. This year with the pandemic, do you find it hard to go out and work, or do you stay at home, or did you stay at home?
I did not stay at home during any of the pandemic. We have safety precautions here at the office, of course, whether it's face masks, sanitizers, or staying. Our offices are quite spacious, even though we're in an old building, and those old buildings are not like cubes, they're like big rooms, and so there's plenty of social distancing. My law practice, the Shine and Harden law practice, has been able to hum right along with adapting to whatever has been necessary to continue to be able to practice law. But what has taken a bit of a ding is the political process, because politics is about meeting, greeting, being with people. It's about crowds. It's about networking. It's about socializing. It's about rallies. And all those things have been diminished as a result of the pandemic. So politicking has been a bit harder than anything under these circumstances.
Yeah, with Indiana, they don't have as many cases like the other states do. I wonder what we're doing right.
Well, I don't know what we're doing right or wrong. All I know is that one case is too many, and it will be a great day when there is a vaccine, which to me is going to be, if it's a vaccine that works, and I would understand the hesitancy of those people who might not want to try it being first out of the gate. But it seems to me, just like other things such as measles, smallpox, chicken pox, etc., to eliminate that from the world scene will restore the confidence in society and allow us to be free again as far as our mobility is concerned.
Yeah, it hit the world like a sledgehammer.
Right,
Wow.
It certainly did.
My audience, how can my audience reach you? Do you have a website, phone number, email, whatever?
We do have, it's Shine and Harden, SHINEANDHARDIN law.com. And, you know, we always have an open door policy here at the office. That's one of the reasons that I am and have continued to be at the Broadway and Beaver location for 4
decades.
That's
where you are, Broadway and Beaver.
Right, Broadway and Beaver, where that beautiful fountain
where
is.
Where the big tree is sometimes in the wintertime. Christmas tree.
Well, mainly during the Christmas season, of course.
Of course.
But I've always preferred to be in a building such as this, not on the upper floor of a financial institution or a big bank building or something like that.
Are you on the first floor?
What's that?
Are you on the first floor? Or?
Well, I'm on the second floor here, but this building is certainly accessible. Yeah. And we want to, and accessible to people who are able to reach out to and make them feel comfortable in this setting.
Do you have an elevator or something?
We have conference rooms and business rooms on the first floor.
So when people want to go out and speak to you about what they want done for them, what services you can give, they just have to go to those conferences rooms.
Yes, and you know, I come up and down. It just all depends. We're able to accommodate anybody.
Finally, what would you like to share with my audience? Hope, encouragement?
Well, I would like to say how proud I am to be a resident of Fort Wayne. That's a choice that we all get to make in life. Pretty much, you know, where we want to be, what we want to do. This has been a great community. It has, I can't express my gratitude to friends and neighbors and supporters who have made things in this community worth wanting to stay for. Whether it's our park system, whether it's our beautiful downtown area, whether it's our thriving neighborhoods, Fort Wayne has got it all, and I am just so thankful that instead of following my first desire, I think, out of or during undergraduate school, which was to try to be a voice-over announcer in New York. I am so glad my mother said, "You're not going to do that. You're going to go to law school instead." And that was probably the best piece of advice that I ever got. So I'm just happy I chose that path, and I'm happy that I can share the benefits of this community with all those other great citizens who live here.
Kudos to Mom.
Yes, very much so.
Well, you know, this is towards the end of the show. Hey, I rhymed. Oh my goodness. My poem is coming back out again. So thank you, Mr. Shine or Steve.
Steve, and it's just been a
Steve.
wonderful thing. I didn't want to miss the opportunity to be on your program when you asked. I know it's been a problem with scheduling, but
Yeah,
I
years.
finally made it.
Took years to get you on my show, kid. We've been
Thank you.
on for 10 years now, 10 seasons.
Well,
We have over
Congrats.
515 shows done. I'm impressed.
Very good.
I'm impressed about myself too. Okay, well, I'll say goodbye and hold on. This is Patty Hunter of Patty's Page. Thank you so much for coming in with us to our home studio with our guest, Steve Shine. So we'll see you next week, and I hope you have a great week and enjoy the day.
Godspeed, my love, until we meet again. You're always in my heart and every dream. Don't let this time apart give in to all our fears. God will keep us close from up above. So until we meet again, Godspeed, my love. God is with us always, and for the rest of our